What's up, everybody? ATOH, the Outsider here, bringing some ideas and thoughts on something that's been in my head and in my heart for the past few months. Of course, I'm talking about Black Panther, T'Challa, King T'Challa, if you will, and I'm talking about King T'Challa on Martin Luther King Day, because I got kings in my mind. So to start the day off, in remembrance of Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and all the kings that have come before and after him. It's important that we salute the kings, right? I know sometimes it doesn't feel like y'all seen or someone's trying to erase y'all. I understand that. I'm uplifting the kings today. You guys have made, you guys as in everybody, as in all the kings that have come before, as in all the kings that are ahead of us. That feeling of the king, that perspective of the king, y'all are important, right? Y'all not going anywhere. Queens can be present too, kings can be present in the same space. It is all good. All right, so shout out to all the kings that are out there. So yeah, so the reason why I'm posting this video is because I'm kind of sick of going through all these comments and these forums and these just debates about what the next thing they're gonna do as far as they as in Marvel is gonna do with the Black Panther series, Black Panther movie series. You know, we got the news a few months ago talking about Kevin Feige announced that for Black Panther 2, there wasn't going to be a recast for T'Challa's role. And, you know, it's like little bits of information. Like, Disney's smart, Marvel's smart, right? They have so much money at their disposal, and they just know how people respond and react to things. Because, you know, they might not read all these comments, but they know how people react to things. So they're giving out little breadcrumbs and being real selective about their language. And that's for a good reason. A, you don't want to give too much away, keep people in suspense. You want to drive up traffic to anything that says a teaser or a trailer or a review or anything else. You want to kind of lead people in, right? Also, it just keeps things interesting. And we don't want to get the same story. We're not going to get the same story we got in other comics and everything, right? Like that. We're going to get something totally unique and so totally different. And they might not even know exactly where they're going with things, or they do, and it's just like, of course they're not going to give you all the information because that's what keeps it exclusive, right? And also just to protect the actors and all that as well. So with that being said, they announced that there was going to be a recast for T'Challa and Black Panther 2. They didn't even say for Black Panther 2, right? That's how selective Disney is being about their language. They just said, we're gonna recast him. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be a T'Challa in Black Panther 3, or Black Panther 4, or Black Panther 5, Doomsday, or Avengers 8, Kang's Return, or Black Panther 8, T'Challa goes to the grocery store with Deadpool. I don't know. Like I said, they're being specific about what they're saying. The other theory is, of course, when you have Wakanda, everybody's after the throne, they have to vibranium. So usually, when we saw in the first movie, there was a power struggle, right? So it's quite possible that Black Panther 2, as Kevin Feige announced, there'll be more, I guess, smaller stories about Wakanda being told in Black Panther 2. So it's quite possible this is more about a battle for the throne. If we're going off the Infinity War theory, then everybody's fighting for the throne. So it means there's tribes all around Wakanda, all throughout Wakanda. Maybe it's about how they're kind of coming into, all right, well, now there's a political gap, and how do we fill that, right? So that's quite possible. And then, of course, people have been saying that Shuri might take over as Black Panther. I see a lot of comments about that, saying that this MCU Shuri doesn't have that warrior feel to her. It doesn't really seem like she can be either a regal, leader, or not a warrior, right? Because when she's using the gauntlets, blast, 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 and then they stop working, she was like, oh. Most other warriors, if they have any type of fortitude as T'Challa, would find a way to do hand-to-hand combat. It doesn't mean that she can't like bulk up or train herself to really, fill that role. But again, it's not just Shuri, there's also Nakia. Nakia wasn't the Black Panther at any time throughout the comics or any other type of format, but she's still a warrior, right? So it's quite possible maybe even she goes for the throne. Maybe M'Baku goes for the throne. Maybe Okoye goes for the throne. There's also a theory that Killmonger might come back. I just read a comment saying that T'Challa put one of the Kamoyo beads in his wound before. Did he push him in? I can't remember if he pushed him into the water or not. No, I think he just bled out. But that's one of the theories as well. But again, this is Black Panther 2. T'Challa might not have the bigger role, but of course the setup for the rest of the universe. They're gonna have more Avengers movies. They're gonna have the Fantastic Four movie. They're gonna have the X-Men movie, and you really can't do too much with those titles without Black Panther because he plays such an integral role, especially now that Wakanda has been opened up to the rest of the world. Of course, you have to see how Black Panther and T'Challa kind of fits into the rest of the world. One thing I wanted to mention to the fans, to the many fans that are out there, I appreciate all of y'all. I know you all are very passionate. You've been waiting for 50 years for a Black Panther movie to come out, and now it seems like once he's on the precipice of really being exposed to the world, and the rest of the world is finally feeling what you felt for all these years. You've been telling people about Black Panther, for your entire comic fanhood. And it seems like he's just been snatched away, and like this announcement that T'Challa will not be recast for the Black Panther 2 movie is heartbreaking, and you're raging out, and you're like, oh, a black man finally makes it to the big screen, and then you rip him away. It feels like an attack on your manhood, which I get it. It should be protected, right? Especially black manhood. But with that being said, I know that fear is there, right? This is why I did this on Martin Luther King Jr. days, because we've had so many role models, kings taken away from us, queens taken away from us. So that fear is kind of like a trigger for y'all. I totally understand and I totally get that. But I don't think this is one of those circumstances where it's an attack on black manhood. It's a difficult circumstance. I think Disney and Marvel were both in a difficult position. I'm pretty sure they had an awareness of Chadwick's condition and had to be very careful about what they did and how they planned things out. If they knew he had the cancer growing during the first Black Panther filming or the Endgame filming, maybe their writers had to be like, let's see if we can work something out where this sequel isn't really around T'Challa as much, just in case this thing is advancing too fast for us to control. And I'm thinking professionally. Think about it professionally. If you've worked in cinema, if you worked in movies, if you work for big production companies, when they're putting money, millions of dollars on these actors, they have to be really careful about what they do and how they make decisions and how they plan out stories, because you can't really retcon with movies as much as you can do with comics. It takes a bigger budget to do that. So, and I know the other sentiment is that people just don't want to see Shuri at all. They don't want to see a Black Panther movie without T'Challa. And again, doesn't mean that Black Panther 2 won't have a T'Challa, because I'm still seeing things like, I'm not going to see Black Panther 2 if T'Challa isn't in it, or I don't want to see Shuri come to the throne. It's too soon. They haven't tapped into T'Challa's genius. He needs to be in more movies before they switch the throne. And I get it. I totally get it. But here's another theory. They might try to placate to black women. And I say that because Marvel and Disney aren't stupid. They've caught a lot of flack for having a lack of diversity in the past few years. And there's only so many black Disney princesses. Maybe there's less than 5, I'm sure. Tiana Shuri counts as a princess. There might be one more that I'm missing. If you want to count Homegirl from Atlantis, even though she's Atlantean, I don't know if that's a different... Anyway. So they might try to placate to black women, which isn't totally a bad thing, because they understand that black women drive a lot of the conversations and attention on these things that have buzz to them, right? Black women shift cultures, and they lead cultures, and lead conversations, and they just got their eyes on them all the time, right? Because black women are just so explosive and beautiful, and it's like they may very well be trying to put a black woman as Queen of Wakanda, maybe temporarily, while this whole shift of power thing is going on. So I think that's one of my other working theories, quite possibly. So these are just some few initial thoughts, things that I've processed over the past few months, because like I said, I've been in these forums and these groups and these comments where guys are just raging out because they think their character's being snatched away. And there's some really poor arguments like, oh, Captain America got to be in all these movies and T'Challa gets his second movie, he's not in it. Like, again, I'm just trying to say, yeah, pay attention to the way that language is formed. Don't just go off of the hype. It's really easy for people to get caught into that trap simply with a tagline is all it takes for people to just go off the handle. And there's a lot of stories for Wakanda to be told. And when we're talking about Black Panther is not just the king or whoever's sitting on the throne, right? Black Panther is all of Wakanda. Black Panther is Adore Milaje. Black Panther is the Queen Mother. Black Panther is Shuri. Black Panther is all the various tribes within the mining tribe, the river tribe, the border tribes, all those tribes. The Jabari tribe, right? Wakanda's part of that too, or that is part of Wakanda. Yeah, Wakanda is also his enemies too. There are various enemies, right? We didn't really get to see Naganda in the last film, so they might be doing something with that as well. And then think about all the technology and all the just the different people within Wakanda that are moving around and doing their thing. We didn't really get to see too much of their stories, and they're as important as the Black Panther. I know that's going to be some more trigger language for y'all, but think about it. If you really want to flesh things out, and also if you want to do spin-offs and everything like that, you gotta develop the intricacies of Wakanda, and that's why I'm surprised I haven't brought this up earlier. That's part of the reason why we started the Wakanda Alliance, is because we wanted to see Wakanda for more than just Black Panther. We wanted to see where the inspiration is coming from those cultural roots, and see where the technology and the spirituality and the art and the history kind of intersect and make this fictional region feel closer to home for people of the African diaspora. And so I think it's really smart that they do tell those other smaller stories, just so people can see that, it's not all about the king, it's about the people too. Also, if you read the comics, there's always a power struggle going on. Like, they could also do like a Midnight Angels type of route where they kind of develop the relationship between Aneka and Io and in the movie, and maybe that starts to develop early. They also have to, I guess they left off with the herbs. Maybe there's a way that kind of gets brought back. Maybe there's a plot to restore the herbs and all that stuff. Explaining more about how vibranium works. Could be stories around that, the whole Extraction Academy and how all that works. Also, Wakanda outside of the borders. How is Wakanda developing relationships with the rest of Africa? How are they developing relationships with the rest of the world? Because at the end of the first one, T'Challa and Shuri, they went to Oakland and said, this building's going to be the new, embassy, or actually, I don't know if they said, an embassy or a research center, but it can develop, a bunch of different ways. So that also might be a possibility. So I'm saying all this to say that just take it easy for a minute, y'all. Just think about the positives. Think about the potential. Think about the things that you can expand on besides Wakanda, right? Because that can be done with Captain America or Iron Man or Fantastic Four, right? They're kind of working in within borders that we're familiar with. They haven't really, Doctor Strange dives into the mystic realms, and Thor has, the different other realms besides Asgard. So these are different things but when it comes to Wakanda, again, there's so many other cultural routes they could take and so many possibilities they can take. So just have a positive mind, keep your minds open. Trust me, it's going to make this journey a little bit better. So as news develops, I'll post more things, but I had to get this off my chest because I'm just going to post a link instead of typing out a dissertation and thesis for these comments when I'm reacting, because fingers can't be out here all day. So I appreciate y'all watching the video. All my Black Panther fans, all my Marvel fans, definitely follow me, follow the Wakanda Alliance on Instagram at the Wakanda Alliance, Facebook Wakanda Alliance Program. YouTube Wakanda Alliance program. Check out the Black Panther and Storm Appreciation Group. That's one of the groups that I've been most active in. And I definitely want to make sure the conversations are more balanced. I want to see some more women offering their opinion on Black Panther and Storm. I didn't even talk about how they could possibly start to develop the relations with X-Men and all that. But I feel like you can't talk about X-Men without Black Panther. You just can't. And Storm's going to get her own solo film, I think was announced. So there's all these different things that are working. Let's talk about it. Drop them in the comments. I'm probably going to post this on YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff. If you want to have a direct conversation with me, holla at me. You want to bring me on your podcast, I'm down for it. You want to do like an Instagram live debate on what's possibly going to happen for the next Black Panther, I'm totally down with it. You want to get involved with the Wakanda Alliance, DM one of our very many pages, and we can work something out. So until then, Wakanda Alliance comes back in February. Stay tuned for that, and I hope to post some more updates soon. So, till next time, Wakanda forever. See you soon.